when I think of James, I think of like a book filled with imperatives. Do this, do this. I don't look at James as like a comforting book. I don't look at James as a comforting book for me. But it's interesting. It's interesting that you found it like a comfort, like you found it like a great resource.
You're right. James is chock full of instructions. And you're right. I think pound for pound in the New Testament, James has more imperatives than any other text. However, what's really comforting about James is his relentless focus on wholeness. So at that very beginning, when he says, these trials lead to an enduring faith so that you might be complete, mature, lacking in nothing. I think James is talking about wholeness there, being a whole person. And then in verses 5 through 8, he moves into, don't be double-minded. That's like the person, like the waves of the sea, unstable. Double-mindedness is a deep fracture in our souls where we're not living the way we should. And James is calling us, yes, through these difficulties and through obedience and through some instruction to the life of wholeness. And yeah, Mike, that just really resonated with me and continues to resonate with me. It reminds me of Psalm 86:11, where David says, unite my heart that I might fear your name. I need God in the gospel to unite my heart so that I'm not divided, going in two different directions, vacillating between a loyalty to the world or a loyalty to God. And yeah, James is confrontational. Chapter 4, verse 4, he says, adulteresses, you can't be a friend of the world and a friend of God, right? So there's this real sharp call away from divided loyalties. But I find that comforting. I find that the offer in the gospel that God unites our hearts, heals us, and draws us to this path of wholeness. It's not just comfort, but it feels like this is the right way to live. This is the way God has created us to live. And here James is challenging his readers. But all along the way, he says things like chapter 1, verse 21, receive the implanted word, which is able to save your souls. That's not me saving myself. That's me receiving the work of God, I think, in the gospel. Or chapter 1, verse 18, it's by God's will that he caused you to be born again by the word. It's God is the one acting first in calling me to this new life. Of course, I must respond. But it's that idea of wholeness that really is encouraging, I think.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I got to say, like, I really appreciate how thoughtful you are when, like, going through these various books, like the book of James, in your commentary, as you are describing, like, different perspectives. Like, you do a really good job of, like, sharing, especially in some of the more complicated passages. And I think about, like, in James, the passage about faith without works is dead. And is this a contradiction with what Paul said? And I thought the way that you kind of shared that the different perspectives on it, I think you did a really, really good job of being fair to the different sides. Hey, thank you so much for checking out this video clip from the Dogado podcast. To get more videos like this, simply subscribe here on YouTube. You can also download the full episode of each show on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, or your favorite podcast player. Take care.